It's Paul Marsh here on Express, and I'm delighted to welcome back an old friend to the show, Cody Pennington. Thanks for talking to me, sir.
Well, thanks for having me again, Paul. I appreciate it. It's good to hear from you.
Now, one of the rules of this interview, one of the stipulations, I said last time you came down, you made a 3 hour journey to come down here to Portsmouth and talk to us. I'm not having that this time. I'm not having that. Let's use technology to its fullest, and let's use Zoom.
Yeah, no, that's fine. A little less hassle on me, I suppose, but it wasn't really a hassle. I was happy to come down and meet with you guys face to face. I'm
I
always happy
know.
to do that, really.
I know you were. It's me. I'm thinking, no, I'm not having anybody drive 3 hours to talk to me. I wouldn't have anybody drive 3 minutes to talk to me, to be fair. So 3 hours is a little bit too much. But let's talk about you. Let's talk about your tour because I'm trying to think when it was. Was it May you were in Southampton? June?
I think it was May. It was
I
either May or July, but I'm pretty sure it was May, the end of
It
May.
it was absolutely unbelievable. Let's start by saying you sold out the engine rooms, which in itself is a massive feat because the engine rooms is an 800 capacity, so it's a really really big venue. Um, Myself and my wife came along. We had such a good time, just singing and dancing, and we weren't the only ones. There were 798 other people doing exactly the same thing. Everybody had such a great time. So you as good as virtually sold out your entire tour, didn't you?
Yeah, pretty much. I think we had just one date that didn't sell out. But supposedly we had gotten close to the legitimate capacity of that venue. Some venues advertise the capacity a bit higher every now and then. So apparently we got pretty close to selling that one out too. But other than that, yeah, we sold out every date of this last tour. It was phenomenal. Couldn't really believe the response we had.
You must be so happy with that.
Yeah, very happy. And it's funny that you were at Southampton as well, because Southampton was it was pretty much exactly what our shows are about. Southampton was perfection on how our shows go and how everyone in the crowd was having a good time. Everyone seemed to just be taking care of each other, and it was just in all of it was just good vibes, and that's kind of what we like to promote with the shows. Is essentially kind of like a show like you'd see on Broadway in Nashville. It's just you go in and you have a good time. That's all it is, and that was the perfect one for you to come to, I think.
Now, I think that when you started singing over here in the UK, you were performing a lot of covers and then you were doing just sort of two or three of your own tracks. How does it feel now to be at the stage where you're performing not far off 50-50 and the people are actually singing your tracks back to you?
Well, two parts to that question, I guess. Yeah, we are close to the 50-50 mark, but it seems like we keep making the shows longer. So it'll end up dropping again because we just keep adding more covers. But for the singing back to me part, I mean, that's obviously amazing. I mean, when I start downtown, I mean, people just go crazy for it, which was it. I don't remember if I told you. I think I might have told you last time, but that was just a happenstance song. That wasn't something that I had planned on being any sort of popular tune. It was kind of an idea that just sprouted, and I thought it was a fun, good times song, and it turned out to be one of the ones that people sing along to the most now. So it's a cool feeling. It really is a cool feeling, and it's going exactly the way I was hoping it would.
Yeah, it's really, really great to see. And is that one of the reasons why you decided? Because obviously you're about to do another tour in the autumn. Is that one of the reasons why you chose Southampton as one of the venues that you were going to do? Because this is a much smaller tour. I think you're only doing about, is it 6 dates or something like that? It's much smaller, isn't it?
Yeah, so I'm still finishing up our 2023 tour, which involves 4 dates in Edinburgh and Glasgow. So two in Edinburgh and two in Glasgow. But then I added 3 dates in England and Wales to add on for the EP release, essentially, just to get a little bit of a boost on that. That's three, one in Southampton, obviously, one in Cardiff, and one in Manchester. I basically chose those cities because we have a lot of history in those cities now, and we have a lot of diehard fans in those places. I mean, we have a ton of history in Southampton. So, I mean, it felt like it would be wrong to not go back.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, like I say, it was amazing last time. The crowd absolutely lapped it up. The tickets are selling very, very well for this show already. I've absolutely no doubt whatsoever it is going to sell out. So we're going to talk about the tour and the EP and everything else a little bit later. Just before we play a song, there is one thing I want to just talk to you very, very quickly about, and that's spiders.
No, no, this is going to become a thing. I have a feeling it's going to become a thing at our gigs, and it's going to terrify me. And I mean, there's already an issue with people throwing things at artists on stage. If people start throwing spiders at me on stage,
Live
I'm going to start
spiders,
throwing
yeah.
fists. Yeah, I
So
can't.
you recently posted a video onto your socials that you had an issue with a spider. Now I'm not going to go through the whole story right now because if people want to find out the story, they can go to your socials, which is Cody P Music. Is that correct?
That's on Instagram, yeah. But if you Google Cody Pennington, you'll
Yeah,
find all my
you'll
socials.
be able to see the full story, which is very, very funny, by the way. But my question to you is, as a man who's traveled the world, in England, we have no dangerous animals whatsoever, none at all. And yet a spider is your thing.
Yeah, you know what? People keep saying that, and they say, well, there's so many animals in the world that people say, oh, they don't even care about you. They don't want to hurt you. I mean, I think the way I look at it is like, yeah, a whale may not want to hurt me, but it'll probably accidentally kill me if it gets close enough, not even meaning to. So I just have it's some things I just have kind of a pathological fear of. It's just I can tell you exactly what they are. Right now, my biggest fears are spiders, heights, and sharks, and that's it. I mean, anything else you can throw it at me. Like I said on the video, I'll pick up a snake. My wife hates snake. I'll pet. I wanted a pet rat for the longest time, but I just cannot do spiders, even if they're poisonous or not. I know people keep telling me they're not going to kill you, they're not going to attack you, and I'm like, I don't care. I just don't trust them.
Okay, fair enough. Right. Let's talk about let before we get to the EP, let's talk about the single Losing Her, which is written for your daughter, and you didn't actually intend for it to be a single, did you?
No, I didn't. It was pretty much the only song on the EP that I didn't intend to be a single, to be honest. I didn't intend for quite a few of them, but it's the only one that I didn't feel like should be a single. I felt like it was one of those tracks that's special to the artist that's released on the that's on the group release essentially, because there's quite a lot of artists that release special songs to them. Say if they release an EP or an album, there's those one or two songs that they just really wanted on it and they wanted to release it, and it's not necessarily the one that sells the record, but it's the one that means the most, emotionally.
Yeah. And it got a great response, didn't it?
Yeah, yeah. People felt. I mean, it's obviously. I suppose it's more of a niche of a niche of a niche because it's country, but it's also targeting parents as well. So if you don't have children, it's kind of hard to get that visceral feeling from the song. But my idea for that song was to create, kind of capture the feeling of being a parent in a song. And my drummer said I did it, and a lot of other people said they've had an emotional response to it. But if you don't have kids, it is kind of difficult to kind of explain the feeling you're going to get out of the song. So I suppose it won't be as universal as Downtown, I guess.
No, well, that's true. I think it is something about certainly me in the last few years, obviously kids and everything else like that, and parents getting older. There's certain songs that just instantly make me cry. And I don't
Mm-hmm.
know why that is. Any song about children, even though I'm leaving, Luke Combs, floods of tears, absolutely floods of tears. Zach Brown, My Old Man,
Mm.
floods of tears, and it's making me into an emotional wreck. It really, really is. I don't know what's wrong with me.
I think it's amazing, honestly. I think that's one of the coolest things for me personally of becoming a dad is the change in how I interpret artistic work. I mean, everything from movies to stories, books, even in music, it all changes the perspective to the point where you experience something that you may have experienced 100 times before. You now experience it in a completely new light, and it hits you emotionally, and I think that's the coolest thing personally that I've experienced
Mm.
from becoming
Yeah.
a father.
Um, Getting back to the EP Downtown, which is obviously what the tour is in aid of. You got your EP dropping very, very soon. You got the single out right now, which is called "Be a Man." After our earlier Spider story, I don't know. I know you kind of you said at the end of the video, it still makes me a man, but No, I don't know. I'm not sure about that one. We'll debate that one when we're not on Zoom and on the radio in front of thousands of people. So tell us about the single "Be a Man."
Yeah, Be a Man was it's an interesting one actually because it started off as a song about comparing men to men, essentially comparing cowboys to men almost, and that whole quintessential country idea about cowboys are the pinnacle of man and this kind of stuff. And I didn't really know about the song really. I was like, I'm not sure about this one, and I took it to a writing session with a good friend of mine now, Gary Quinn. He's a, UK writer. He's Irish, but he lives in the UK, and
Gary's fantastic. Yeah.
he is, yeah. He runs the Buckle and Boots outside of Manchester and stuff. He's a great guy. But I brought it to him, and literally he sat down and said, "I don't know if that's the way this should go." He said, this the way he's like, maybe you should just make it about men in general, and it just morphed in that writing session into something completely different to where it is now, which is the idea of it can be difficult to be a man, and in different ways, just like the spider thing. Like, I'm embarrassed to say that. I'm not actually, but it is an embarrassing thing to say. But I'll say I personally don't care. But it obviously
It's
is.
like me talking about blubbing over songs to do with kids and parents and stuff like that. Yeah.
Yeah, so sometimes, it may be difficult to be a man, and then the whole song's about how it's sometimes confusing, and how what are you supposed to do sometimes, and how do you hold on to the things that are important to you, even though you have to find this odd sense of needing to work yourself to the bone to be the man of the family. This kind of stuff, that whole idea, it kind of turns it around and asks, how are you supposed to handle it? And it's more of an idea of from my perspective, and Gary's obviously, and I guess anybody that relates to the song. And also, I mean, the whole idea is actually quite universal as well, because there's plenty of women out there that are working themselves to the bone as well. So I feel like the idea can be universal in a way, but it turned into something that I thought was quite special. So I definitely felt like it needed to be released.
Well, we're going to hear that in just a moment or two. You have got some more singles lined up to come out, both in September. You've got Fire to be released on the 15th of September and Memories of You on the 22nd of September, just ahead of the tour. What can you tell us about those singles?
They're both Fire has been something I've worked on. It's an idea that I've mulled around since I was at the law firm. So over a year and a half, 2 years almost, I've been working on that one, just kind of formulating the idea. Memories of You actually is one that I'm incredibly excited to release. It's a song that I feel like would be the perfect ending to a set. It's got a really cool. It's a very cool build up in it. It's a slower build up and then a huge explosion towards the end. It's one of these songs that just hits me musically, and I'm really excited for that one. That one, I'm hoping people will really hear that and go a bit crazy for it, because it's kind of like Zach Bryan's Revival, if you've
Oh,
ever
okay.
seen his stuff. So he starts quite slow, picks up into this huge thing that everybody can just dance around to, and that's the idea behind that one. It's I'm hoping both of them are going to be quite popular, but time will tell, I suppose.
Well, listen, I can't wait to come and see you again in October. I think it showed from last time how popular your shows are, and the real, like I say, the real mixture of original songs from yourself and the covers is just a perfect mix. Everyone really, really enjoys themselves. So if people do want to come and see you live, if they want to find out a little bit more about you, where can they do all of that?
Definitely go to codypennington.com, or just Google me if you want to find the socials. I post quite a lot on our socials. We got a Facebook group that I post in. My Instagram and my Facebook are busy enough and all that kind of stuff. So you're welcome to just search me and you will find it. I've worked very hard to make myself noticeable online, I guess. I
Cody,
will say one thing about the Southampton date is that it is at the engine rooms, but we are selling half capacity. So it's definitely going to sell out because it's half of what it was before. It's only it's gone to 500 capacity, because
okay,
I wanted to make these shows a bit intimate. So
right.
if you want tickets for those, you definitely should scoop it up.
Do it fast. Do it fast is what we say. Cody, thank you so much for talking to me. I really do appreciate it.